Hey, Mary. Hi, peeps. I'm Auriel Grace, and welcome to a spiritual show. So, we have a really cool show tonight. We're talking about crystals this month and next month, too. So, we're talking about, crystals, gems, and minerals. So, I chose to talk about some scepters tonight because of the way that they're created, the way that they're made, and the gemstones that are inside of them. And so, to give you some ideas, because next month we're going to be talking about what crystals you can use if you are one going to be celebrating the thinning of the veils, connecting to your spirit guides and angels, living in a haunted house, all that good fun stuff. Okay. So, tonight you're going to learn about two scepters that are pretty popular, but in most indigenous tribes or people living uh, in history have created scepters because scepters are something that show power, right? They're a powerful tool. Okay, but before we're going to do that, I do have a couple of announcements. Hold on, let me get my notes. Okay. So, yeah. So this past couple weeks has been a couple weeks that have been really sad, I think, because I'm always asking you all to speak up, speak your truth, do your thing. And I really want to encourage everyone to speak their truth. Be truthful, right? Be who you are, truly. And to always choose love over anything else. Like, don't fight. don't don't get upset. Don't be a jerk. Instead, step back and choose love. Okay, the more of us that choose love, the more of us that choose consideration, understanding, that we choose this way of being, the easier the world will be. And there's so many of you right now that are so worried about what is going to happen. Well, things have culminated, things have come to a point. Actually, they're not even there yet, but things have come to a place where, you know, stuff's going to happen. And the best thing that we can really do is choose love. Choose love. Please don't go out and go crazy. All right. So please make sure to do that. All right. So tonight we're going to be talking about the history of each object, their timelines in creating them, and the stones that go in these scepters. They're pretty awesome, to be honest. I really I haven't seen any of these scepters in person, although I do want to. So I'm going to find them. I have to find them. So the first scepter we're going to talk about actually comes from England, and it is the sovereign scepter of the cross. Now, this scepter is not the medieval scepter that was created originally. This scepter was created, hold on, there it is. It's really pretty, isn't it? Okay, so this scepter was created in England, and it is an English scepter. So what is a scepter? A scepter is an ornamental rod or staff worn by rulers on ceremonial occasion as an emblem of authority and sovereignty. The primeval symbol of the staff was familiar to the Greeks and Romans, and to let the Germanic tribes in various forms no, I'm in charge. I have the scepter. Okay. So even the Pope has his shepherd's crook, right? So, he's got a shepherd's crook so that he can guide his peeps or his sheep in. So, and that is another piece of power, right? Okay. So the the Carolinians are Charlemagne used a long staff imitating a Roman one, which the Roman scepters were shorter. Um, and in the 10th century, two staffs were used to consecrate a European king. In most countries, the second was replaced by an orb. In England, they have an orb, but they actually use both scepters. We'll talk about both of them, but this is the first one. And so, and they hold them in both hands when they're being crowned. Now, the Sovereign Scepter of the Cross, which is this one right here, which is pretty awesome, right? Is a British crown jewels created in 1661 for King Charles II by royal goldsmith Sir Robert Venier for the coronation of King Charles II. The first scepter of the cross was destroyed during Oliver Cromwell's time when England was a commonwealth. They destroyed all of the medieval royal regalia. All right, so then when Charles came back to England and he became king, they had to remake the regalia. So when Charles was king, hey Iris, when Charles was king, the diamond was not put in this scepter yet. It was just the amethyst orb, the cross on top, and all of this beautiful enamel and other jewels were on it. All right, so the diamond is it's a new thing. It's newer. So King Charles, uh, his goldsmith created a new scepter for him. So he was crowned. And the scepter of the cross represents the sovereign's temporal power and their role as head of state, with the cross atop symbolizing the divine right of kings. The scepter highlights the monarch's role as head of Church of England. It serves as a reminder to rule on the Creator's behalf. Okay, so this reminds them, hey, remember that you're like the person here on earth representing the Creator, and so you need to rule on his behalf. So this scepters are really powerful because one, they show that this king or queen is the ruler. They're that divine spark from God to rule their people. And the way this is created too, you can see that it has the amethyst sphere up there. We'll talk about that sphere in just a second. And then the cross above with an emerald in it. And so there are tons of gemstones just in this scepter alone. All right. So this is the timeline of this scepter. It was created in 1661, like I said, for King Charles, so that he could be crowned with it. And in 1905, the Cullinan diamond is discovered in South Africa. We'll talk about the Cullinan diamond in a second. In 1907, a gesture to mend relations after the Boer War, the Cullinan diamond is gifted to King Edward VII. And in 1910, the setting is dramatically redesigned to incorporate the Cullinan 1, okay, diamond. So that's when they did it. It's pretty recent that the diamond has been put in there. It's huge. In 1911, it's officially mounted, the Cullinan one, by the crown jeweler Gerard. Right, so he created the um, the setting for the diamond, and then King Charles did use it. All everyone that has been crowned in England has carried that scepter with them. Okay, so the scepter of the cross comprises of a gold rod, and I'm going to show it to you right now. Hopefully you can see it. Oh, that's the one with the dove. Hold on just a second. Well, we'll show you this. But so it is a rod. You know, this scepter has a rod like this one. All right, there's a lot of enamel in it. It's really beautiful. Um, so it has enamel collars at the intersection surmounted by an enamel heart-shaped structure, which holds a huge drop-shaped diamond. So they made it like a heart because they love their people, right? So, and by a faceted amethyst on top, set with table and rose cut diamonds, rubies, spinels, and emeralds, with a cross above, set with diamonds, a table cut diamond on the front, and an emerald on the reverse. So we're seeing the reverse of it where the emerald is. And um, it's fabulous. I took a good look at one of the pictures that I couldn't use, but I will leave a link in the show notes tomorrow so that you can go and look at the whole thing. It's just lovely. It's beautiful. Um, so beneath the Cullinan 1 diamond are further enamel brackets representing a brown um, mounted or see this right here, it's in the middle right there. So it has it's mounted with rubies and diamonds. The pommel of the scepter is enameled and mounted with rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and diamonds. The whole thing is 3 feet long. It weighs about 2.6 pounds. So in total, there are 333 diamonds, 31 rubies, 15 emeralds, 7 sapphires, 6 spinels, and 1 composite amethyst orb. So it has diamonds, which mean eternity. Rubies are vitality and independence. Emeralds are pure love stones. Sapphires are self confidence. Spinels are inspiration. Okay. And so when they say composite amethyst orb, what they mean is they took amethyst and they pulled it out. They pulled a bunch of amethyst together. Usually they're talking about the dust, the afterwards. After you get through cutting stones and stuff, there's always some sort of um, I don't know, extra, right? And so they took the extra and they put it together and they glued it and then they fashioned an orb out of it. So that's what composite means. And we'll talk more about composite when we talk about turquoise. But that that amethyst is not just one sphere. It's amethyst brought together, glued together, and then it is calibrated, and they made it into an orb. So that's what that amethyst is. They wanted it to be a specific size, but they wanted it to be amethyst. Why amethyst? Because it's the spiritual stone. And what are they talking about? They're talking about this monarch, whoever the monarch is, like King Charles. He is the monarch of England. So he not only does he represent England, but he represents the spiritual people in England, right? He's the head of the church. So now we're going to talk about the Cullinan diamond. Check it out. It's huge, huge, huge. And it's actually the Cullinan diamond. Let me see. I thought I do. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get this up for you guys. Oh, me see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can get this picture of the Cullinan diamond up for you guys. It's actually, it was actually a lot bigger than um, what this stone is. This is only a part of it, right? So this is it. So these are the pieces of the Cullinan diamond. It was actually a very, very huge piece. The Cullinan is one, which is in the sceptre, is called the Great Star of Africa. Also known, yeah, and it's the world's largest colorless cut diamond at 530.2 carats. It's set in the sovereign scepter with cross. It is on display at the Tower of London. So if you ever get to the Tower of London, go check it out. All right. So cutting it down to 8 stones, these stones that you see right here, took a while because they didn't have lasers back in the day, you know. They actually had to figure out a way to cleave it so that they could break it down. That's how big the stone was. So it was named after Sir Thomas Cullinan, and cutting it took 8 months and 3 men to cut and polish the diamond into 9 larger stones. So they're numbered 1 through 9. And one of the guys, this was funny, I was reading about it. One of the jewelers actually had taken and found a little crack in part of the big stone, and he had been kind of chipping away at it, and he finally got a place where he could put a steel rod down there. Well, he did. He put a steel rod in the crack, and he tried to whack it, and he actually broke the steel rod trying to cleave the stone. So it took 8 months to do this. Now, when you're cutting a diamond, diamonds are one of the hardest substances on earth. So what do you use to work with a diamond? Well, you use diamond dust. You have to use something that is stronger than the diamond itself. And that's why they're the eternity stones, right? Because they're so, one, they're so hard, and two, they are such, it's like taking a billion positive energy stones and putting them all together. And it just that is a diamond. So if you have diamond rings or diamond pendants, wear them. Wear the heck out of them. So there's 9 stones. Their value is estimated at $430 million. All right. All right. So, and if you go to the Royal Collections Trust website, you'll see these pictures there, and the pictures are just lovely. Okay, so that is what it looks like. That's what a diamond looks like rough. I know a lot of you really like seeing them. There you go. So it took 8 months to create this. It doesn't have all the facets like it would have if it had been laser cut. This is actually done by hand. Okay, and it took a long time to do it because it's so hard. But it is a beautiful stone. And if you ever I'm going to England. I'm specifically going to England to see the Royal Regalia. I know, I'm silly, but I'm all about those gemstones, right? So this is the first scepter. And if you are thinking about creating something that is really cool for yourself, think about what you want to go in it, right? I'm going to show you my big wand over there. I call it a wand. I don't really call it a scepter, but think about what you want to do with your projects, with your creations, what you truly want to put in them, right? Because you want to do that. I have a broom here in my house, and it's, I don't know if I have pictures of it. I'll share them. But I have a broom. It was made by a broom maker the old-fashioned way. It's a beautiful broom, and it has all of her. She has all of her beautiful jewelry on her. That's what I call it, and she's decorated to the nines. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about your magical stuff, the things that are yours that you want to create for your home or yourself to assist you in whatever you're trying to do as either a healer or even, trying to strengthen your intuitive abilities, whatever it is, you know, really look at who you are and what you want to put into your own tools, right? Because that's what these are. These are beautiful tools. So this is the scepter with dove. All right, it's really pretty, huh? It is a really pretty scepter, and this picture doesn't do it justice at all. It's like I saw it, I was like, wow, this is really cool. But this is something different, right? Because it has a dove on the top of it. So when you look at different things and you look at those things that you really truly love, animals are really a part of how people express themselves. And so this one has a dove. What does the dove represent? On this staff or the scepter, it represents the Holy Spirit. Okay? And so the scepter with dove represents the sovereign spiritual role, with the dove representing the Holy Ghost. Traditionally, it has been known as the rod of equity and mercy. This scepter is slightly longer at 3 feet 6 inches. All right, this scepter is decorated with 285 gemstones, including 94 diamonds, 53 rubies, 10 emeralds, 4 sapphires, and 3 spinels. Circling the rod are bands of precious stones. At the top is a fold mode set with diamonds and topped by a plain cross. Upon the cross sits an enameled dove with its wings spread, representing the Holy Spirit. All right, so this one, between the 9th and 12th centuries, early coronation forms mention 2 rods or scepters used in English coronations. In 1198, the use of the 2 different distinct scepters on are tipped with cross and the other with a dove. And its first recorded coronation of King Richard I. Now, remember, we had to, like, all of the regalia had to be remade after Oliver Cromwell's Commonwealth destroyed everything. All right. So in 1066 onward, the tradition of using a rod to symbolize the monarch's pastoral and spiritual care of his people is documented as far back as the coronation of William the Conqueror. 1649, the original medieval coronation regalia, including the earlier version of the scepter, was destroyed during the English Civil War. This is the current scepter. 1661, the current sovereign scepter with dove was created by the royal goldsmith Robert Vanier for Charles II coronation after the restoration of monarchy. This scepter is also known as the rod of equity and mercy. In 1685, the separate ivory scepter with a dove was created for the coronation of Mary of Modena. Now, the second scepter, the dove doesn't have the wings spread. The dove is sitting atop the cross. All right, so I'm sorry I didn't get a picture of that one. But it is also really beautiful. It really is. And they're enameled. So enameling is an art in itself. I've seen people do enameling, and wow, it's pretty awesome. So again, we have another scepter, and when, like, the kings and queens of England are crowned, they're holding both scepters, both of them reminding them of their connection to the Creator and how they're a good example for their people, right? So that is it. Isn't it pretty? I think it's pretty. I like it that it has a dove on it. And I want you to think about that too when you're creating your own things. What animals do you resonate with? What animals do you really like? Right? And are you going to incorporate them in your own sacred stuff? Right? The sacred things that you make. All right. So this is a different one. Let me see if I can get him. Is that a better? Let me see if I can get a better picture of this one. I think this is better. Okay. All right. So this is a scepter from France. Okay. And it is this one was created for Charles V, and it's called the Scepter of Charlemagne. And it is reserved, it's preserved, okay, because France went through their own revolution, but they preserved the scepter. They don't have, because they don't have a monarchy anymore. So it was part of the regalia of France. And that up there is, see, it's in the Louvre. And this scepter consists of 4 elements: a shaft, a bulb, a fleur-de-lis, and a seated figure of Charlemagne on the top. So on the top there is Charlemagne, right? So he was their great king. And he's sitting on the top of the staff. So when the French kings were crowned, they held the staff, reminding them that they are, they're awesome superheroes like Charlemagne. Basically, my words. Okay. So, so the legend of Charlemagne, Saint James appearing to Charlemagne and commanding him to go and save Spain. The miraculous blossoming of spears of those going off to die in battle, and Saint James wrenching of Charlemagne's soul from the devil. Yikes. Charlemagne is represented holding a scepter and globes. The scepter at this time measured 3 feet 9 inches and weighed 2.2 kilograms. The shaft is engraved with rosettes and fleur-de-lis, and it is actually in 5 pieces. So it is brought together, and each part where it's brought together, there's an enameled area to cover up how they have to screw it together. So to cover up the joints. So this is a different staff. So we've seen one with the dove, right? We've seen one with a cross and a humongo diamond. And now we see this one with a person. So these are things that you can consider when you're creating your own scepters or your own wands. Maybe you like, I love Guadalupe. So if I were to create something, I might put an image of her on it because like she's the gal for me, right? So the thing is that I know these are ancient objects and that, but it gives you an idea, like opens up your mind of what you can do for yourself and making things for yourself, right? It doesn't have to be like the ones in the store, because the ones in the store sometimes are kind of boring. So the timeline for Charlemagne's staff. All right, so in 1364, the scepter was created and first used for the coronation of Charles V. In 1380, Charles V's inventory mentions the scepter. He also bequeathed it to his son, Charles VI, and it was returned to the Abbey of Saint Denis. 1722, the scepter was broken and then urgently repaired for the coronation of Louis XV at Reims. During the French Revolution, the scepter was removed from the Abbey of Saint Denis and later became a part of the French royal treasure, eventually transferred to the Louvre Museum. And that's where its home is right now. It lives at the room at the Louvre. So let me go back here to me. I'll take this down. How do I get rid of it? There it goes. Okay. So these are all great, awesome things. And the Egyptians, they had rempet sticks. And those sticks, one of them, both of them would have gods on the top of them, symbolism of them on the top, and they would hold them. One of them was like a crook, too, like a shepherd's crook, and the other one was straight. Or there would be two of them shaped like shepherd's crooks, and then they would have like depictions of the gods on them. And so usually it was Thoth and Seshet that were on the sticks. All right. And so they would use them. And if you look at some of the tombs of the kings, they have those sticks, they're crossed over, their arms being crossed over. Okay. So, and that's an example. I couldn't find a really good picture of the rempet sticks because I really wanted to find it because they're so cool to look at. Hey, Mom. So, when you are creating your own like sacred objects, when you're creating your own, staffs, wands, like right in back of me, you can see it. Let me see if I can get it. This wand was created for me. It's a fertility wand, and it's to bring in prosperity and abundance. And so the symbolism on this wand, there's a lot of it. I know it's not as fancy as the scepters that we just looked at, but if you think about it, like here are the blooming flowers, there's the egg for fertility, and then there's gemstones all around it. See, there's flowers, the egg, gemstones, ribbons. There's even more flowers down here with bells. Let's ring in some prosperity, right? So symbolism has a lot to do with your spirituality. What symbolism do you really resonate with? And that is really cool. And it may take you down a rabbit hole to try to figure that out, like what you like best, right? What resonates with your heart. So we have that. And then I don't remember the last time I showed this, but this is a staff. It's really long. See? It's really long. But the person that made this staff for me put selenite in the sides. And what does selenite do? Selenite keeps things clear. It keeps the environment clear. That's what this staff is made for. And then it has quartz crystal on the top. And so what I really wanted to say during this show is that there are so many ways that you can create your own and that it resonates with you. It only has to resonate with you. If other people don't like it, tough bologna sausage for them, right? So think about what you would want to create. If you create anything, send pictures to me. I want to see it because I love seeing new creations in that. So look at who you are and what will help you, right? Because we're going into the thinning of the veils. And so Are you going to create something for yourself for the thinning of the veils? Are you going to like make something that can be yours? Like these things sit in the house and they sit in different places for purposes. The egg wand, the fertility wand sits over there with the books because why? I want I want people to buy my books. I want them to enjoy them. I want them to learn from them, right? So that's why that wand is placed there. And I place things in my house in certain areas for specific reasons. That staff is usually sitting right next to the broom. And they go together like a house on fire. They just, they create some nice little energy in the little corner that they're in. So think about how you place things in your house. What do you do with the things in your house? What areas would you like to create more energy? Where would you like to decrease the energy? And how and what do you want it to look like? Okay? All right. So that's what I have to say tonight. And I hope that this inspires you to think about the creations that you are going to make, that you're thinking about making, and that you actually make them. All right? Okay. All right. So that's what I have to say tonight. And please, I would love for everyone to choose love. Make that your thing. Choose love. Choose love over fear. Choose love over violence. Choose love over separation. Okay? Because everybody needs that right now. And if we all start practicing that and sharing that with other people, I think that things will start to ease up. All right? Okay. All right. So, have a wonderful week. Stay safe. And remember, keep your heart open and aligned with the energy of love. I'll see you next time. Bye.